All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We got a two-for special here today with coaches. Just going to do coaches only today. Young man we was going to interview wasn't feeling just the greatest today, so we're going to have two coach special for Isaac Brown, Jake Fennell, Dylan Harden. I'm Zach Austin. And go ahead and introduce yourself, Coach.
Coach Hattabaugh. Coach Hattabaugh.
Coach Hattabaugh. How long you been coaching, Coach?
I've been coaching for 7 years.
7 years. Wow. What do you coach?
Coach offensive line, and I coach linebackers now, and
Nice.
co-offensive coordinator with Coach Simpson.
Nice.
So, yep.
So, what's it like transitioning from a player to a coach? What's the difference?
Player, you think you know it all,
Yeah.
and then when you come and coach, you realize you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for me. I thought I'd walk in here and know about everything that was going on, and
Right.
it was a blur. Like my first year, it was just basically a whole lot of studying, and
Yeah.
I didn't know near as much as I thought I did. So
Right.
it was just a big learning process, and I
Yeah.
had a lot of good coaches walk me through it too.
Right.
So
That's good.
it was good mentorships.
Yeah.
So
What's it like? You've played at Bearcat Stadium. What's it like coaching at Bearcat Stadium?
oh man, there's no better feeling in the world.
Right.
You walk out there and you see the fans and the support, and it's great. I still remember playing, back when in the playoffs where that line would be all the way to the
Oh, yeah.
end zone, and we'd run out
Yes.
there and you'd run back around, and the crowd would be going wild. And that's one of the things that makes Bearcat football so special.
Oh, right.
Is their sport's going to be there regardless of how well we do, how well we don't do.
Yeah.
It's always going to be there. So it's a blessing for sure.
Oh, yeah. A little bit more about you, and then we'll dive into the questions I got here. So do you get to choose what you coach? Or does it kind of, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do? Why the offensive line, I guess, is why that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, for the most part, Coach Crowley leaves pretty much a lot of it up to me.
Yeah.
I think he trusts me with that, and that's great. I'm glad that I've earned that trust throughout the course
Right.
because first 2 years in, it was Coach Hott was helping me a lot with
Yeah.
it because obviously, like I said, I thought I knew a lot more than I actually did.
Yeah.
So he's gave that responsibility to me, and we just. You see film, you try to correct what you messed up on the week before, and
Right.
been doing it long enough now that it's not easy because there's
Right.
a lot of problems you got to fix sometimes, but it's not too bad.
Right, that's good. Almost kind of like second nature, probably.
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, and we switched offenses in about 2020,
Yeah.
and it was a whole nother learning curve. So I
Right.
just learned it, and you would think like we won a state championship in 18.
Yeah.
I knew stuff, but I didn't. At that point, I was still learning.
Right.
So in 20, it was a whole nother learning process.
Yeah.
And, I definitely like this one more than the last one because the problems are a lot easier to fix.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yep.
That makes it a little bit easier coaching and adjusting on the fly, too.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So we'll dive into last Friday. Started this with Coach Crowley. Right out the gate, they kick off, and we was talking about it up there, and like, what in the world was that? You don't hardly see that, just ricochet and just go up. And
Oh, yeah.
walk me through that on the sideline. Like, what's going on?
It's a great atmosphere, and you walk over there. Charleston, they got a lot of tradition, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a packed house, and you walk over there, and you're excited, ready to go. Think you got a good game plan, and then you got to wait an extra series to get
Yeah.
out there. But the thing is, I've never seen anything like that
Yeah.
since I've been coaching, and it's kind of like, all right, here we go, man. Come on, we just got to fight. So
Right.
it was definitely a shock, but hey, they overcame it, and it was good stuff. But at the time, kind of nerve-wracking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So walk us through the first half, Coach. First half, we go into halftime down 8-6. They obviously had a good game plan of slowing the clock way down. That kind of stuck out to me. It was just how slow they just went about their whole process. That really changed your game plan any?
No, I felt like we drove the ball well.
Yeah.
I felt like off that first series, Dax had that fumble down by the
Yeah.
30, which, it happens. It's part of it.
Yeah.
We don't want it, obviously,
Right.
but it happens. But I felt like we moved the ball. I think we were
Yeah.
averaging 7 to 8 yards a carry
Yes,
throughout
yeah.
that first drive. So we knew we could move it.
Yeah.
But it did get kind of nerve-wracking there for a little bit, and but I knew our kids had been there. They know how to respond.
Right.
last year we went through a lot of close games, with Osceola, Melbourne, all those games in the playoffs, and I really felt like that built our seniors up and ready for this moment. So I know that no matter what, they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
So it was good. But
Nice. Are you aware of this? I know Coach Crowley wasn't quite aware. Even this week against Charleston, they only had 100 yards at half. Since conference play, I went back and looked. You're allowing 100 yards and less on defense in the first half. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. They play hard, and Coach Collins, I mean, he always has them in the right spot. Right. There's not a person, and I'm sure Coach Crowley probably told you this too, there's not a person that works harder in the building.
Yeah.
So whether the guy's drawing up plays up here, working, or he's in the deer stand doing it, I'm telling you, he is busting his butt for Bearcat football. So he does a great job. He'll always have him in the right spot.
Yeah, he always does. We stopped by and talked to him after the game and just congratulate him like, Coach, I mean, they had about 5-6 trips. They got down to the 30, and y'all just a bend but don't break mentality and just turn them away,
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty phenomenal. Got things going in the second half. Dax obviously goes over 200 and something yards in the second half and for the game. And walk us through having Warren at fullback and Todd. I thought they both did pretty good. And Lance as well. But Todd had that real long run on third and long,
it was
something
a
like
big
that.
one.
Walk us through making those decisions, Coach, sliding those guys in there.
Oh, yeah. We trust our guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we trust them to make every play when they're in there. So, earlier in the week, Coach Crowley told us, he tells us, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. And, he's the head coach and we listen. Right. So, but with that, those guys are capable.
Oh, yeah.
And Todd, he caught that pitch, and that was a beautiful thing. And seeing him run, he looked faster than he's ever looked. Did he know it?
He did. He really did. We was hoping he'd just keep going and score. It was like he's got like another gear. I don't know if he realized he had or
it must have been that adrenaline, man.
It had to be.
He was flying.
He was.
And then Warren, he's a sub 1100 meter guy.
Yeah.
He's a stud. He's going to be a good one for us. So, it's the talent's definitely there. And, Lentz, and I still keep saying Lentz is going to have a big game.
I'm waiting for it.
He's going to have a big game. He does all the little stuff right. He's, Coach Crowley probably tell you this too since he coaches A-backs. He's probably, he's one of the best, if not the best blocking A-backs we've had since we've been here. So he does the little stuff right. And all those guys are capable, and it's nice having that flexibility to roll those guys in there. So,
Yep. Let's see. Let me go here first, I guess. Let's see here. No, I've already done all that. I'll go to this question. What's it like coaching on offense and then switching to defense? Is there much difference, or is it kind of the same?
I think it's relatively the same. You're still looking for your minute details and your stuff, trying to fix stuff. There's not a whole lot of difference. I think sometimes defensively you can kind of get caught up in, I know coaching linebackers, you can get caught up in eye candy. You have your keys, so you have to stay true to it. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing offensively. They're going to be set, but based on what you've done to key what you're keying. So you're still focused on your keys. You're still doing your job. It's relatively not the same. It's how well can you do your job every play that helps the team out. So not a whole lot of difference, I don't think, for my positions.
Right.
So.
That's good. Let me ask you this, and we'll jump to Lavaca. We've asked Coach Crowley this, over the past and stuff. What's it like, coaching against Coach May? He was here when we played. Yeah. And then Bryson, who's obviously, a real good friend. Obviously, understand how it goes, but what's that like coaching against them and everything?
Man, it's tough. I love Coach May, man.
Yeah.
Coach May was, our defensive coordinator while we were here, and he was the kind of the guy that I looked up to.
Yes.
I have a great respect for him. He's my pastor at my church, and I have great respect for him. And then over the years, Bryson, I knew Bryson because he hung out with Cody Simpson, which is Coach Simpson's brother.
Yeah.
So I got to know him, and I'd be over at Chad's house hanging out, and I'd hang out with Bryson because we just clicked. Yeah. So we go to church together and stuff, and I love him. I mean, I'd do anything for him. So it makes it kind of tough. I mean, it's they still deep down inside they bleed purple. So they might not admit that now, but they do.
Yeah. I would agree to that. Yeah.
So, but
yeah, that's definitely always a fun game to have because he's got those mixed emotions. You got to push back and all right, this is our game, so to speak.
It's definitely it's something else, man.
Yeah.
I like playing them, but at the same time, I'm just like, golly, like it's just weird, you know.
It is,
so,
right?
But I love them to death. They do a good job over there, man.
They do.
They're so well coached.
Yeah.
So
That's good. So Friday, senior night. You've been here, obviously 7 years now. Ask Coach Crowley this. What's it like coaching seniors? I mean, obviously I figured it's bittersweet, but what is senior night like, I guess, from a coach's perspective?
it's kind of like it's kind of seeing like every bit of their work starting to come to an end.
Yeah.
And that's what we kind of talk about, like down there in linemen and stuff. And I always count it down every week. I'm like, all right, so you're only allotted this amount of time, and if you play right, you're allotted this amount of time.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of seeing their journey as a Bearcat come to an end. So I always say it's like the toughest thing ever, seeing them go from seventh graders, those sometimes obnoxious seventh graders,
yeah, oh yeah,
to people that you want to hang out with and you want to see and you built that relationship with.
Right.
And, it's definitely tough, but it's good to see them transitioning in that part of their life. And we got great seniors. I mean, I'll say that all day long. Like, our seniors are awesome. So it is bittersweet getting to see them, grow up and start to transition into that that playoff run that we're gonna hopefully go pretty far. So.
Right. Hopefully so. So we got Lavaca coming to town. Kind of like to throw it around if I'm correct, right? Just we'll spread you out and throw it. They'll mix in the run and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Got some decent athletes over there.
Yeah, we do.
So what can we expect from them Friday night coming over here?
They're gonna run the football. They'll throw it around. They'll keep it pretty short for the most part. They're a good football team though. They play hard. They're fast. Probably one of the top team speeds we've seen so far.
Oh, nice.
I know we've played a bunch of upper classification teams that are really successful, but they got a lot of team speed. I mean, they can run. So we got our run fit's got to be good. We got to be able to move them. We got to be able to get in our coverages and not blow them because that's a big thing. But I think they're a good football team, and I think that they present a challenge that I think we're ready to accept though. So
they've only lost 2 conference games, and winning Friday will give us the pretty much outright conference championship. Because right now Charleston's the only loss, and Charleston only has the 1 loss, and then you got the 3-way tie for third there, and that's their only second loss of the whole year as well. So pretty decent team coming in. What can we expect from the guys and y'all going into Friday? Anything different or just the usual game plan?
I think usual game plan. I mean, I think our guys are going to be prepared. They're going to be ready to go, and that's something after last year. You want a conference championship every year. That's your first goal, and that got taken from us last year.
Right.
So winning that conference championship has been the big thing that's been on our mind. So it needs to come back here to Logan County. So the guys are ready to go, I think. So.
That's good. Let me ask you this, because I'd seen a video of guys getting off the bus over at Charleston, all pretty much taking care of business in the suits and everything. Is that just a one game thing, or y'all kind of have like a dress up for the game kind of thing?
We got some characters.
Yeah.
So we got some characters. I think it's probably going to be an every game thing. I would be surprised if it wasn't. It kind of just started out like Ryan, a few of them, and then it's just blossomed. So I can only imagine it later on. It's really just starting to take off. So
I saw that. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Some of them are snazzy, man.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. They do a good job. They clean up well.
They look pretty sharp, and JJ even had like a briefcase and everything. I'm like, boy, he's just going down to the details.
Like I said, it's just starting. I don't know what's good. So I guess it'd probably be something they'll probably do from now on. I think Coach Crowley likes it too. So hey, whatever he likes is what's going to happen. So.
Ask Coach Crowley this, kind of going back to the Cats in general. Who's some guys that's on the special teams, or not special teams, scout team, that's maybe progressed pretty good over the year, that's getting close to getting themselves maybe some time rotating in or something?
Yeah, so I watch predominantly offensive line and defensive line and linebackers. But for the most part, I think, Foxy. Fox is going to be a good one. He's a transfer in from Magazine.
Right.
Jonah's been doing a really good job in practice as well. He should be moving towards some reps here pretty soon. Think of another guy. Richardson. Kev Richardson. He's been doing a really good job as far as he actually got some starting reps in their first team. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys are really starting to just. That's a beautiful thing, seeing those sophomores start to blossom.
Right.
So a lot of those guys are younger guys. Some of them hadn't been in the program a lot.
Right.
I talk about Samuel Hicks. He came over here, and he came from Greenwood.
Yeah.
And it's been a process, but man, he's starting to figure it out. Like a lot of these guys are really starting to figure it out and really starting to see what they can become.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good. But I would say Fox and Richardson and Jonah's been doing a pretty good job in practice as far as getting better, and
right.
It's good stuff.
That's good. This is kind of, I guess, along the same lines, but looking to the future, asked Coach this a couple weeks ago, who's maybe some underclassmen that, like on the offense and defense line, because those are the guys, we always say, they don't get all the credit, and they don't, because they're the workhorses. I mean, all three of us here, we was on the line.
Yeah.
So we kind of know what that's like, but who's some guys that, they just come to work and come over here and just get the work done?
Man, I'm excited about that junior high offensive line group. They've been getting after it.
They have.
So, anytime you can live off a zone dive, 22 and 23, and run the ball with Brody right up the middle, and people can't stop you, that's a pretty good feeling offensive line-wise. Yeah. Because, that's the baseline of our offense.
Yeah.
And everything else runs around it. So if you can run that play, and you can run that play only, then you can start building off of it, and things are nice. Right. And they've created the holes to do that.
Yeah.
And some of those younger guys are, underclassmen like Hubble and Barnes and those guys, and they have a good mix of 8th and 9th graders. So, Crosby, he's another one.
Right.
So Willer, I mean, that whole group right there, that's a pretty fun group. So
I'll say I've watched some of their games, and I've been impressed. They're fun to watch. Kind of know those groups fun to watch.
And a lot of people, last year they were really good in junior high. I mean, really, really, really solid in junior high. A lot of those guys kind of got discounted. They were like, oh, they're not going to be very good this year. They've stinking worked hard. So, Coach Simpson and Coach Harrell and Coach Kimes and all those guys, Coach Omer that are in junior high period, they've worked wonders, and the kids have worked hard.
Right.
So it's been a fun group. So
Yeah.
they're getting better.
Ask Coach Crowley this. Coach, I guess, kind of started when we was in school, moving the freshmen up, and then y'all have been dressing them out and everything. Can we maybe see them? I mean, we got a lot more guys on the team this year than compared to last year.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be hard to do, but what's it like having the freshmen come in and getting them some playing time on the high school level? What's that like for them and from y'all from a coaching perspective?
Well, it's good. It kind of gets them some experience. Some of those guys, it's a whole different ball game. So they come in there, and it's a really good experience for them. And some of them might be able to earn their way into special teams. Just depends on how well they do.
Yeah.
There's been a few guys that have come up and worked during the when junior high season's over, and you've been like, wow, man, these guys are really good. One guy that comes to mind, Randon Ray.
Yes.
I'm telling you, he came up here after junior high practice, and they were like throwing him pops and stuff out there, and I was like, which we couldn't move him up at that time. We're like, man, this cat's good.
Yeah.
But it'll be so good for them, and I'm excited to get them up here and get to coach them and see them grow.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's always fun to watch them and watch them grow and everything.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's really just about all I got for you. Well, I'll take that back. Throw a couple more questions in here for you. What's it like being co-offensive coordinator, transitioning to that role, and what's that like doing it with Chad? I mean, y'all seem like y'all got pretty good, camaraderie. So.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's really fun. It's a lot more time.
Yeah.
A lot more time. But there's no other person that I'd rather do it with. He's my best friend. Has been since he moved here from California in the 8th grade. So getting to work with him every day is fun. I'll probably drive him nuts because I call him probably 10 times a day.
Yeah.
And he probably wants to turn his phone off sometimes, so I don't call him. But yeah, it's a blast, and we have a whole lot of fun. And the thing is, Coach Crowley, I always say he has the Midas touch. So like we'll be on like the headset or whatever, and he'll say like one thing, and every time he calls something, it's a touchdown. So I'm like, oh, Coach Smith said, why are we even doing this? Every time he calls something, it's a touchdown, and we're like struggling. But no, it's been a blast, and it's been a whole lot of fun. So I honestly, there's not another person that I'd want to go coordinate with.
Right.
So, it's,
I think that'd be fun because I feel like you could bounce ideas off. I know, like, there's certain people at work, like, I work good with, and you kind of know what the other one's thinking, and you're just like, hey, what about this and this? It's like, yeah, that'll work. I figure that's the same way.
yeah, it's kind of like we'll be saying stuff, and then we'll fire it off, and then it'll be like a light bulb, and we'll be like, we'll almost kind of fuse it together.
Yeah.
We'll be like just some stuff. We'll be like, oh, we need to do this, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we can do this with that, and then we'll be like, okay, well, let's just combine them, and we're good. So it's been really good, and we come up here Sunday after church, and we'll talk for sometimes, depending on the game, it'll be 2 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
Charleston week 5 hours, but we met this week for about 4 or 5 hours, so it's just trying to cover everything, and that's the thing. You doing this is you always want to put your guys in the best situation.
Yeah.
So you want to make them shine, because they work so hard throughout the course of the week. Our kids work, extremely hard. So when you get up here and work, it makes it easy too when you got kids that come out here and work, because you're like, I'm telling you, I'm going to work hard. So, and Coach Simpson's going to work hard, so we can put those kids in the best situation. Right. So it makes it easy in some aspects to come up here and work a lot of hours.
That's always good, especially because some places you may have a couple guys that they put in the work, and I'm not just saying that because you're here, but I feel like our guys, like, we got several guys that they just put in the work because they want to for the guy beside them, and for y'all as well, and it shows, and so that's just always phenomenal. And let me ask you this, and we'll get you out of here with this. So, Friday we saw y'all getting onto a player, which it always happens. But the thing is, what's it like from a coach's perspective now? Where, all right, he's not doing something, so I got to get him. Like, hey, what the heck, and then turn it into all right, now this is what you need to do. What's that?
Transition.
Yeah.
You can always pick a player up or destroy a player by what you say to him. So I think sometimes it's always good to get onto them really heavy and then let them understand why you're getting onto them.
Yeah.
It happens though. That was a personnel package on the 2-point play that it was probably we should have went over it a little bit more. We ran a new play. You don't always go into situations thinking you're going to use those 2-point plays, but we had practiced it that week and personnel wasn't correct and we were trying to fix it, and they need to stay by us, but we could probably yell it a little louder as well too. But you have to be very careful when you're yelling at them sometimes, and get after them and let them know you love them at the end of the day. But he got it fixed, and it was funny because I had somebody come up to me that was you're gonna laugh at this. I had somebody come up to me and said, "Yeah, his dad was right in front of us after you had yelled," and I was like, "Oh, okay, Well, he needed it. Yeah. He wasn't right where he needed to be." He said he loved it. I was expecting to be like he didn't like it, but no, he loved it. He loved him. He said, "Well, he needs to be paying attention next time." So that's the type of kids we have, and parents we have that are super supportive of their kids and stuff, and that's one thing that makes this place so special.
Right.
So
you got the people that understand the process and everything that y'all put in, and then we'll have to chew you out this play, but also we're going to learn from this, so we ain't going to do it again. Yeah. And it got the people to back you on that, and that makes it easier. It takes like a burden off your shoulder, I would think.
Oh yeah, our kids are great too, and they respond. I mean, that's like, there's some kids like that you can yell at, a little bit more than others. Right. It's just how it is. But our kids like legitimately respond. Like if I yell at somebody, they're going to respond. They're going to get the job done. Yeah. And I know it's not like that everywhere, and that's what makes this place so stinking. I mean, this is like a gold mine here. Yeah. There's no other place like it. There's no other place like it. So I love it.
That's awesome. I love it. I've enjoyed this time. I told you that'd be our last question. So
yeah, no problem, man.
That'll be our last question. I guess that's really about all I got, Coach. Unless you got anything else you want to throw in there or anything.
Go Cats. That's
it. Y'all come out Friday. Support these guys. Game starts at 7. You got senior night, probably go off around 6 o'clock or so, and get here early. That way you can see everything. Give these guys an atmosphere. You can always tell. Playing, you can feel it, but also us doing the live stream stuff now. I mean, you can feel the atmosphere and just when it shifts.
Oh,
So y'all give them something to feed off of, and I know they do. I know y'all do. So y'all come out and support these guys Friday night. For all these guys and these coaches, I'm Zach Austin. We'll see y'all Friday night, Lord willing. Remember, as always, folks, it's a great day to be a Bearcat.
Yep.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For Isaac Brown, Jake Fennell, Dylan Harden, I'm Zach Austin. Week 9 coaches show. I cannot believe it. Got the head guy here. Coach, how are you, man?
I'm great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain, I guess.
Good.
Got some decent weather today, so that's not too bad.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful weather.
I guess we'll just dive right on into it. Big rivalry game last week against Charleston. Of course, we come out on top 25-15, but walk us through, I guess, the first little bit, that opening kickoff. We talked about that. I don't think we've ever seen that ball just ricochets and goes straight up.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, I traditionally like to defer, and I just had one of them feelings that we're going to take the ball and try to establish, line of scrimmage, come out, set the tone, and they kick it, and it hits our guy right in the head and bounces right back to them. And I told the coaches, I said, we're never taking the ball again. We're just going to defer. And it was a bad deal. We felt like everything that could go wrong for us in that first little part went wrong,
Right.
and with that, really not much control over that.
Yeah.
And, we had a good drive there that, we fumbled there, had a really good drive going.
Yeah.
Felt like we were going to score on that drive and fumbled the ball and gave it back to them. And, and then had the one drive that kind of just 3 and out, whatever it was. And then the last drive right before half, we just going 90-something yards is just not in 2.5 minutes is not good for us. So,
Right.
they did a good job of running the clock down,
Yeah.
keeping our possessions limited. We only had 4 in the first half and scored on one of those and, fumbled one that was a good drive. But, the kids responded well after halftime, come out and did what we needed to do.
Yeah, I noticed their game plan, really they slowed the game down like tremendously. And I guess that's what kind of stuck out to me because typically, correct me if I'm wrong, they usually they love to pass. We know their quarterback's hurt, but they're kind of more up-tempo than what they were Friday.
Yeah, they, I think that having their quarterback out, I think they, just felt like we were the better team and was going to, have some success on offense. But hats off to them. That's usually what we try to do to teams,
Right.
is try to keep the ball in their hands. And they did a real good job of that. And, 8-6 at halftime, had all the momentum going. We come out and responded well, did a
Right.
good job.
Did you have to make much changes at halftime or just, get the guys in there and they just kind of like, all right, we just got to get going? And
Yeah, defensively, no. We just defense played great all night long. I was
Right.
really happy with our guys up front. They got after it. The effort was great and bragged on Lance and Matt.
Yeah.
Two-way guys, just in their effort never faltered. They just kept getting after the quarterback and heavily involved in the run game all night long on the defensive side. And Damari played a really good game. He's a totally different kid this year than he was last year. And then offensively, just a few adjustments. We settled in with Dax at B back there for the majority of the second half and able to get him the football. And there's most people won't see it, but there's just a little cut on our zone dive play that we run that he's got to be able to make. And lack of repetition, he's just running, right in the back of our center most of the night. And if we showed him in film at halftime, hey, if you just make this little slide, dude, you are gone. And
Yeah.
he adjusted well. Offensive line did a really good job, and got it done in the second half.
Yeah. We had noticed, defense when we had talked to Coach Combs after the game. It's like, Coach, y'all played awesome on defense. Had it, I think 5, maybe 6 times they got to the 30, and just kind of had the bend but don't break mentality. I thought that was pretty good defensive performance.
Absolutely. Our special team, our kickoff team didn't do the defense any favors.
Right.
Their average starting field position was 50 or inside, and our defense did. They did a really good job. I really feel like our football team is slowly getting better. Those younger guys are growing up, and still some little things to fix, but I really felt like we took a step in the right direction, and practice this week has also been really good. So I feel like we're starting to click a little bit,
Right.
so that's good to see.
That's good. had Hunter Warren get his first start at fullback, and Dylan Todd got to have some time at halfback with Rob being out, maybe a couple more weeks or so. And what is that like, deciding who to slide where and how to maneuver and everything?
Yeah, I talked about it with Coach Simpson and Coach Hattabaugh before the game. We really didn't have a plan as to who was going to play. We were going to start with Dax for a couple plays and then get Hunter in there, and we were just going to, we decided just to go by how the game was going, how we felt. And, anytime in crunch time or you need some tough yards, it's hard not to give it to 34, you know. So it's a lot easier to get it to him from the fullback spot. So we kind of slid him in there. And Dylan, he's not a kid that's going to break an 80-yard run or anything, but he's going to be where he needs to be and do what he needs to do. And he had a 42-yard carry there, did a really good job there picking up first down for us. And, it's good to see kids like that who are undersized and work hard and do everything they're supposed to do, have success on the field, which he's been having some on defense. But they like to get their touches,
Yeah,
so
it's
good to see him get a good carry.
I mentioned it to you last week, and then even this week, and I know we keep going back to the defense, but even up until last week, y'all held Charleston right at 100 yards at half. So I just want to point that out to people. I feel like our defense is, like you said, I feel like the whole team's kind of coming together and everything's clicking good. But I just think that's a pretty cool stat that you've held everyone to 100 yards and less in the first half. And I think that's a good key start to kind of catapult y'all in the second half.
Absolutely. Everybody feeds off that defense. They're all fired up, ready to roll and ready to go. And fortunately, we've got 2 or 3 guys that are just defensive-only guys. So, traditionally we're going to have 9, 10, 11 guys that are out there both ways. But we do have, maybe 7 or 8 that are both two-way guys, but we have a couple that are just defensive-only guys, and being able to be fresh on that side is big. And then, losing Ryland hadn't helped our defensive line rotation much at all. We really miss him over there on that side. And those guys the other night, Lance, Matt, and Damari, they didn't come off the field much, and I was just super happy with the way they played.
Yeah, they played phenomenal. Really good. I'm impressed how quick they get off the ball and just pressuring the quarterback.
Damari, I'd hate to block him. His first step is as quick as anybody we've had since I've been here. And then Lance and Matt, are just kind of bulls in a china closet, man. They're just all over the place, but they're physical. So it's good.
So kind of jumping to this week, Coach. Got senior night this week. What's that like? Is it kind of like homecoming in a way, or is it kind of bittersweet, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, more so bittersweet. It's not like homecoming. There's not the distractions and stuff. You want to celebrate your seniors for everything they've done, and, try your best to make it, all about them that night, and just hope that, they can have as much success as they can. But then understanding, that, we hopefully, we've got another half a season left after these 2 games coming up, so, we're in a position this year where, playing out here, senior night, week 1 of the playoffs ain't going to be your last game out here. Hopefully, if we can continue to advance, we'll have a few more games here at home, which is always a good thing. So, yeah, senior night's bittersweet. You hate to see those guys, winding down their careers, but it happens, and that's the hardest thing for us as coaches is to deal with that, see guys come and go. And but, it's always good to see them come back, too. We had a bunch of the guys from last year's team at that game last week and come up and hug me, and just say great job, because they wanted that one probably more than some of those guys in there. So, senior night's a good night, man. I enjoy watching those kids get after it.
Yeah, it's definitely fun, and always nice to see the guys come back and talk to them. I was able to talk to Trace Hall, and, he said Cam and some of the other guys was there at Charleston, and just how, into the game they were and everything.
Yeah.
So that's always nice to have the guys come back and support what you got.
Absolutely. They come, we see a bunch of them just swing by and say hello, come in, and that's when you're doing things right. You got guys come back and wanting to be around still after graduating, and just hanging out, and those kids seeing those guys come back, it just kind of repeats the process. Those guys want to come back when they leave, so it's always good to have stuff like that.
Kind of change gears just a hair. last year we saw freshmen play for the first time in Lance, probably the 90s or however how long, what started? I know Coach Hyatt kind of started that a little, but y'all started having them dress out and everything. What led to that decision of, hey, let's just go ahead and move the ninth graders up, have them dress out and everything?
Well, we just thought, if they could, it kind of gets you a head start into spring ball for the following year,
right?
And gets those kind of nerves and jitters out of the way for those guys, and that gets them. You get out here and you get to see what they can do against some, better opponents. Going against the scout teams or whatever it may be, but. Just any extra time you can get with them, live reps and playoff time, and they get to go on the road and experience everything and understand what it all means. And luckily, we've had some deep runs the last 2 years, so those guys have gotten to experience playoff football. Travel some cool places, play in a state championship game.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a really good thing, and continue to do it. And it's going to be a little bit harder this year, I think. Because we have such. Last year we had 27 kids on the roster, and I don't know. It's going to be hard dressing everybody out. So we'll find a way to get it done.
Right. Well, see, that was going to be my next question. We'll be able to see the guys maybe get in a game where, if you used to get a big lead, they get some playing time, with as many guys we have on the team this year compared to last year.
Yeah, so. Definitely. It's you try to get everybody in there you can, and last year we got several freshmen last year at Smackover got in the game and got some plays in, and it's always cool to see. Not many people can say as a freshman they've gotten to play in playoff game or even in the state championship game. Had a couple of them last year, so it's a neat thing we do. I'm glad we're doing it, but you got to do it because everybody else is doing it, know, and you want to kind of set the standard and not do things just because other people are doing it.
Yeah.
But when you need to, if it can help you win games, then you need to keep up with everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll kind of jump back to Lavaca. What can people expect from them this Friday?
Lavaca's, had a couple tough losses. They were up on Hackett, a good amount, and Hackett come back and ended up beating them. Lavaca's got some really good skill kids, and last year they scored several points on us, and, we had to go play longer than we wanted to in that game, but, Coach Headley have a lot of respect for over there. He was up when I was playing, he was the head coach over there, so been there a while. He's going to do things the right way, and it'll, I'm sure be a fun night, Friday night.
What can we expect maybe from some of the guys Friday night, and from y'all, maybe change anything a little, or just kind of just keep going with what you're doing?
Yeah, I think kind of if we do what we're supposed to do, take care of business, get the outright conference championship. That's number one. But I think just continue to work on some things that we're continue to struggle with or make mistakes with. Just make sure we get those cleaned up in live action to make sure we're doing what we need to do so we can advance as far as we can come December.
Right. I'll kind of get you out here, I guess, with this question, Coach. Who's somebody that's been on the scout team that's maybe been impressing y'all? They've grown over the year and that gotten closer maybe to having some playing time.
Yeah, Clayton Green stands out. Triton Halpane, both of those guys they're sophomores and really hard-working kids, and they're going to have bright futures here, the next 2 years. But they've really done a good job on the scout teams, and that we tell them, I think sometimes they think we're lying to them, but if you get out there and get after it and do what you're supposed to do, then that's the best way to earn playing time, and both those guys are going to have that opportunity Friday night and moving forward as well.
Right. Well, that's always good. I guess that's really all about I've got for you, Coach. Y'all come out unless you got anything else you want to add, Coach.
No, man, come out and celebrate the seniors. There's not many of them, but they've had a good career, and just continue to support them, and hopefully, got 6, 7 more games, 7 games left.
Yeah.
I hope
hopefully
that's the goal. So we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully so. Y'all come out, y'all support these seniors. I know this group of seniors was one of the ones I was looking forward to as they were coming up.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like you enjoy watching Bearcat football, but there's always like a group or two that there's something about them you enjoy watching them play together.
Oh, yeah.
But y'all come out, support these guys. Y'all get here early, all right? So you're not going to start about an hour before the game or so. If if I'm correct. Come out and support them. Give them, good experience, something to remember. I guess as always, folks, until next time, we'll see you. It's a great day to be Bearcat.
Thanks.